I'm gonna show you how to have a kick-ass quiet time with God. And we're starting right now. Have you ever tried to spend time with God? Because, that's what Christians do. It's a good thing to do, but you don't know how, or it seems like it's just a boring thing to do. It's like just sitting there, being quiet with God. It sounds quite boring, but it can be extremely exciting if you know how to do it properly, which I'm going to show you today. The number one way to make your quiet time with God exhilarating, more than just a quiet time, and more of a kick-ass quiet time, is waking up and making it the first thing you do. Like waking up, drinking a glass of water, going straight into your quiet time. That's the third step. So wake up, drink a glass of water, go straight into your quiet time. Don't do anything else in the morning until you've done those three things. And I mean, it's impossible to do anything unless you wake up, of course. You are less likely to be distracted by other things, distractions that come your way and may interrupt your quiet time with God. And that's the most important thing. Once you've nailed that, you can say, I've done the only thing that really matters today. So, my day's already perfect. Number 2 is to create a playlist of your favourite songs that you can just play in your quiet time. I know it may sound a bit like contradictory. Quiet time, but songs, music, loud music. I think that quiet times should include music, worship music or music that you just enjoy listening to. Jesus, at the end of the day, he just wants to spend time with you, and it almost doesn't matter what you do. I mean, it does a bit, but it doesn't almost matter what you do with him, as long as you're just spending time with him. And sometimes I listen to this kind of music in my quiet time. And yes, it can be something you do with God. Okay. Number 3 tip is to go to bed early. If you want to make your quiet time with God the first thing you do in the morning, you probably have to wake up a bit earlier than usual to do so. If you don't go to bed early enough, it's very hard to wake up that early. So the third tip is just quite simple. Go to bed a little bit earlier. Helps you tremendously. Tip number 4 is to do something creative. Do something creative that you enjoy doing. Everyone, even you, have something that you love doing that's creative. Yesterday I just whipped out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I just drew something, I'll show you what I drew. This man, he's got like armour on, and he looks pretty badass, and I drew that in my quiet time, and it was pretty damn creative thing to do. I'm not very good at art. Before I drew that, I hadn't drawn anything in probably years. I chose to do something, wildly spur of the moment, creative. Creating something that before hadn't existed. Wow. Isn't it amazing how we can create something that before never existed? Wow. Okay, and it could be anything, writing a song, drawing, writing a story, dancing. I sometimes dance in my quiet time with God because, at the end of the day, he just wants to spend time with me and time with you. 5th tip is to do something fun. It's called a quiet time, and it sounds so boring when you call it a quiet time, but it should be something fun that you enjoy doing with God. And God loves fun. He invented fun. If you've ever had fun before, then God invented that. Wow! He's the Einstein of fun. And he invented fun. If you have fun with him, he's like, man, you're enjoying my invention. I love it. When you spend time with a friend, do you go and do something boring with them? No, of course not. You do something that's fun with them. Do something fun with God, you know? Tip number 6, to read the Bible. It might not sound fun. I just said that quiet time should be fun, and you should do things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you don't enjoy reading the Bible. Do something that makes you enjoy it, you know? You can listen to music while you read the Bible. You know, read one punchy chapter. Psalms are pretty good. You should read Ephesians. The chapters there are so full of juice. Real freshly squeezed juice that is truth. You will be filled up with all the truth and you'll be buzzing.
You'll be buzzing.
Only a few verses can change your life. If you struggle reading the Bible, you should maybe read one verse and just look at it. Be like, wow, oh my goodness. If you read the verse and then you realize, that's true. Whoa! That's true what I just read. It says in Jeremiah, God knows the plans he has for you. They are plans for good.
Good.
And not for disaster. To give you a future and a hope. And if you read that verse once, it may seem just a normal verse in the Bible, but if you really understand it, and you look at it and you're like, it actually is true. Wow! The blessing that is ahead of me is greater than the battle that's behind me. Woo! The 7th tip that I want to give you today is probably the most important. I've kept it till the end because of the well-known saying, I'm leaving the best till last. And that's what I'm doing now. Because my 7th tip is spend a few minutes listening to God. Being quiet. You want to at least spend some time listening to God, what he has to say to you. And sometimes I've been having a quiet time and God has just really said something that's pow! And I'm like, woo! Oh my goodness. I remember when I once had to speak in front of about 100 children. I was so scared because I hated speaking in front of people. After God spoke to me and encouraged me, he said, you know what? It doesn't matter what people think of you. It doesn't matter, whatever you do, whatever you say on stage in front of those 100 kids, it doesn't matter if it sucks. It doesn't matter if you mess up. Or if you stumble over your words. It doesn't matter. I love you and I'm never gonna leave you, and you're already accepted, and nothing that you can do, nothing that you can perform will ever make me love you more. I kind of got a little pep talk from God only because I was quiet and I listened to him and he spoke to me through my mind. I didn't hear his audible voice, you know, some people do. Wow. I just heard him in my mind. I believe if you follow those 7 tips, or even one of those tips, you're gonna be able to connect to God effortlessly. You'll stop. Maybe it's busy at work or at school or at home, and then you stop, and then you're like, oh, hey God, how's it going? Oh, and then God will say, you know, I want you to do this. And then if you do it, then you'll be like, whoa! That was insane. Before I made this video, God spoke to me and he told me to make this video. I say it in every single video because every video I make, God tells me to make it. If you were to obey God in whatever it is, the amazing things that are going to come from that are going to be beyond what you could ever have imagined. The greatest in the kingdom of heaven are those who have loved Jesus the most. Subscribe if you're gonna have a kick-ass quiet time with God. Ding-a-ling the bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching. It has meant the world and the moon and Jupiter and Saturn that you watched this video. My goodness. Have an incredible quiet time with God. I'll see you in the next video.